Hey, hello, and welcome everybody to Extraordinary Experiences. Today we have a beautiful young lady by the name of Kelly Gallagher.
Yeah.
We've had the opportunity to actually interview her a couple times.
Yeah, we've had the actually even more of a pleasure to get to know Kelly just
Yeah.
a little bit. She is an extraordinary powerhouse woman who has stepped into her vision and her intentions here on this earth, and of course assisting everybody else to become empowered and let go of victimization and byproduct, and through empowerment we find our joy, we find our happiness, we find our drive. And besides all of the things that Kelly does and what she stands for, and everything that she's an advocate for, which we're going to hear about here in just a moment, we also want to invite you all to just get into Kelly's space and her energy. She is so beautiful and is such a loving and a kind person, and we consider ourselves blessed and lucky to call her a friend, right? So Kelly, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, you guys. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And you remind me every moment with every word, like why I'm here, even when I question myself. So thank you again for having me and reminding me of who I am.
Right. We have those days too, where it's kind of like, what are we doing?
What the hell am I doing?
And then we get a fabulous email from a student or something. I'm like, right, that's why we do what we do.
Why are we here? Why are we back? Why do we come back so many times?
Yeah. So Kelly, we know you've got. We love your story. We're gonna give everybody the opportunity to get to know you.
Well, we could keep adding to her story, right?
Well, we're going
she's
to.
got
Yeah,
so
she
many
keeps going.
things. Yes, she's got so many things going on, which is absolutely fabulous.
Kelly, let's start though by introducing you to people who may not know you. We know a great portion of our audience does know you, just from the response that we got by advertising that you were going to be with us today. But let's chat about what you do. What are you doing in your life, Kelly? What do you do?
Wow, I'm looking at these boards I have in front of me, trying to just keep straight what I'm doing. Well, for those who don't know it, I'm a 5-time cancer survivor. They gave me a year to live 20-something years ago, and I had ADD, and I couldn't focus on cancer, and I focused on my immune system, and managed to get through it with a whole lot of help from a whole lot of angels that walk on this rock we call planet Earth. And so I've been, navigating the world's of alternative and conventional medicine into what I call merge medicine for years. And it's just what I did to survive. Eventually it's become kind of my thing, but, I'm all about saving the planet and humanity and what we have to do to become less toxic. I guess that's it, because I really believe that almost all illness is some form of toxicity mixed with our genetics, which causes chaos. So I'm working now on a project called Blue Plastic, which is a documentary film that is about the crisis that we have of all of our animals, our whales and our dolphins and our fish and our birds dying in mass die-off. We had 70 whales just die on the west coast of this country, and I don't know yet whether their bellies are filled with plastic, but all the other fish and the dolphins and the seals and everything else that's dying, they're cutting them open, they have bellies filled with plastic. So
yeah we're aware of that too. Thank you for all of that. We're gonna talk about that. So we're gonna highlight that. We're gonna give a little bit of show place and platform for that, because I have to tack on to shirt tail onto you. My daughter is an advocate for all of this as well. In fact, she's studying to get her marine biology degree because she wants to go in the direction of basically saving all of the creatures on the earth, but more specifically the ones in the ocean. So she's made all of us very much aware of all of this tragedy that's going on, and without getting anybody weirdly in trouble, she was oddly enough in the service for 6 years, which is really bizarre because it's so against her energy. Now, if she'd been in the Peace Corps, we would have really, gotten that vibe. But instead, she steps into the Navy, becomes a
air
traffic controller, and so she's on a carrier out in the ocean for several years, and what she saw going on even with our own government. Oh my God. And she's empathic, and she's calling me, and she's like, my God, they just ran into a pod of whales and killed them all, and they don't care. And I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, the plastic is crazy. And I think, Kelly, you'll have to support this for us. It doesn't go away, right? I mean,
no.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, that's the real crisis in the oil industry. You know, the oil we need to power our cars, but what the byproduct of oil is this industry called plastic. And I just read an article because I'm working on this treatment for this film, and it was that the plastic industry is on track to be equivalent to 600 coal-fired plants right now. So that's the toxicity of all of our plastic, and everything's plastic. My computer's got plastic, my car has plastic, our kitchens have plastic, but most of the plastic problem is the disposable plastic that we all use for everything. Yeah. Every time we buy crap at the store. And I was going to go into production on something, and I decided to stop and go, wait, do I want to put more consumer products into the world, or do I want to put more beautiful experiences in the world? And we all need to sell something, and that's what we're doing. We're all selling something that's ending up in a dump.
Yeah, well, I made a point.
Well, we certainly aren't afraid to tackle
no
subject matters on this program, I can tell you that. And boy, we've sure stepped into this one, haven't we?
Yeah, I bet.
I just went to Costco. No, I have to tell you that. Just went to Costco, okay? We've got guests here right now currently going through a program with Joyous. So we've got guests, so of course I go to Costco to load up on food and things like that. I'm not kidding you on this. I get a package of English cucumbers. This is how they're packaged. First, each individual cucumber is wrapped in plastic.
Is shrink wrapped.
Then the three of them are wrapped with another layer of plastic to hold them together. Then they're in a plastic container that clips shut. And I'm like, holy crap, could we put any more plastic out into the environment? So my Brad recycles all these things in the greenhouse, to produce, He's like, we're not throwing this shit out. This is ridiculous.
I'm going to figure out what to do. I'll figure out something to do with all of it somehow, some way.
Yeah.
But, we spent, just to give you a side note to what you're talking about, we spent 2 years ago, we spent about 6 months down in Honduras on a little small island out in the Caribbean, doing some filming.
Wow.
And you would never believe the amount of plastic.
Oh my God. We went on the one side of the island, Kelly. This is a catch net for
the current
in the
current
ocean.
Brings
wait, which island?
It was the island of Roatan and Guanaja. And
where nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not only we're talking about, well, you know what it looks like. It's those pictures you see on the internet where you're like, what kind of a beach looks like that? Well, we discovered which beaches look like that. And of course, hazardous waste. There's needles.
There's hazardous medical
waste that's been dumped in the ocean. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing is, the medical waste is from another country.
Yeah.
So they're literally just dumping it into the ocean and letting the ocean,
That was my theory, for I've been working with these organizations over the last maybe 5 years about this plastic in the gyre, and I kept saying to them, we really need to put a tracker on these containers that go out of Long Beach or San Pedro to China, sending our recycling to China, because I actually think they're just driving out into the middle of the ocean
and dumping them.
They're creating the gyre.
And
now China is stopped taking our recycling.
Yeah.
So people are recycling, and it's going nowhere because we are no longer able to ship our recycling to China. We don't have enough recycling here in this country. These are the kind of issues we need to be figuring out, like what to do with it. Like
Yeah.
you say, Brad, it's like, what do we do with this plastic? You know,
Right.
because we should be making chairs out of plastic, and we should be recycling all this plastic, wash it, clean it, fix it, make something new out of it, and quit making new plastic. I think they should put a freaking moratorium on plastic. No more production of plastic.
I agree.
Whatever you got now, it becomes precious material because there's a limited supply. There's no more plastic.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So Kelly, I want to ask I want to ask this question because I think it's an important question for us to address. You know, why should we care about these ocean animals? Now, I know the answer to that question.
We know the answer,
but I want to say this because here's the thing. We're vegan, and so we're huge advocates on animals and the environment and things like that. But there's a lot of people on the Earthship, obviously, who aren't, okay? They don't, I mean, they kind of feel bad that a whale has died, and yeah, that's kind of too bad because the sea turtles that we all love are kind of dying, but you know, it doesn't really affect me. Why should people, everybody, care about this without sounding condescending, thank you, and we know you won't be. Let's with compassion support this information. How does all of this trickle and really affect everybody on the ground, in the city, at work, in their home? What is all of this doing to all of us?
Well, I think this over all of these animals die. I think people are desensitized to the tragedy that's going on the planet for so many reasons. We can go from 5G to mercury to heavy metal toxicity to why they can't think, to why they can't connect, to why they can't get to their spiritual source, to why, you know, God is a question in our minds anymore, and people are no longer connected. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that, you know, we're connected to this, you know, this. Everybody's walking down the street like this.
Right.
And sometimes I just go, you know, I'm right in front of somebody, I'm like, look up, you know, and they freak out, you know. Like,
right.
What are you doing? You're walking down the street texting. You're doing everything texting. And so people are so disconnected. I grew up in Florida on the beach, 8 houses from the beach, and I am like dolphin girl. You know, we have a boat here in LA, and I go out on that boat and I'm like, oh mighty Isis, and I call the dolphins, and sometimes we have 500.
Yes. Yes.
And that, to me, they are the intelligence of the planet. They are the ancient wisdom of the planet. I mean, I was watching this film last night of a whale that is a half a city block long.
Yeah.
How did that become created if there isn't a creator? Okay, I mean, a city block long. A whale is a half a city block long. I mean, that is a large creature. And there are so many creatures in that deep sea that we've never even seen. Right. I mean, James Cameron might have seen them, but most of us have never seen these creatures because they live far below the sea. But we came from the sea. So if you understand that, and that we actually really came from this marine plasma, and that at one point in time, you know, we were from there, then you have to take care of the sea that we came from. You know, no matter what timeline you believe in, I think they're all true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love the point that you're saying as far as the consciousness too. And what, as you're talking, my transmission is that this all unifies the support that we're one, right? We're all interconnected. So Julius is always talking about anytime you cause harm or destruction, not only to your environment, but to another sentient being, we're going to support right here in this show that anything that can feel an emotion has a soul, is a sentient, okay? And that's you, okay? So, you know, you're eating yourselves, you're killing yourselves, you know, and the energy, like you said, the dumbing down energy, the desensitizing, you know, to this process. And
microwaving.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're doing to the whales and the dolphins, just with the sound they're putting in the ocean, it's like, you know, screeching in their ears and killing these animals with, you know, sonar and side scan sonars and all of the military technology. I mean, we're devastating a population that
Yeah.
It is really, that, the whales and the dolphins just, and all the things that go with it really, I believe are the wisdom of this planet. And we need to pay attention. Everybody needs to pay attention.
Kelly, when you had cancer, thankfully so many years ago, um, so many people just, rely on the medical industry. They do the standard, what I call Western operational forms of death, okay, for diseases and chronic conditions. And I'm sure you probably had your fair share possibly of those treatments, some of the chemotherapies, and things like that. What was it that flipped for you where you thought, now wait a minute, I think I can have some ownership in this. I think I can declassify my own secrets. I can figure out, what's going on, how it's going on in the midst of your cancer. So this has got to be the scariest time in somebody's life, the most disempowering time in somebody's life. How did you muster that power to switch that switch for yourself?
I'm getting a little griefy. A lot of times I can't answer that question, but it's just like, boom, you manage to like key me right to the right spot. I was having a bone marrow transplant, an autologous stem cell transplant. I did do mainstream medicine. I did 14 months of chemotherapy, and I had a bone marrow transplant, and I did every alternative medicine, therapy, treatment I could do. In the middle of my bone marrow transplant, I realized that I might never go outside again. And I'm looking out of the window in Cedars-Sinai. Sorry. And I made a promise to God. And I said, I know I did a lot of bad things in the 80s, and I promise if you let me out of this one, I will do the right thing. But please, God, send me signs. And I need them to be clear, because I'm kind of on the learning disabled program of this. I'm now, I've had cancer so many times. I'm like, I haven't died, but I'm certainly not well. And, I think that was the beginning of the epiphany that for me, it was all about forgiveness and all about forgiving myself for what I thought I had done wrong, and forgiving myself for having been molested at 9 years old and thinking it was my fault and never telling my parents, and all of these secrets that I was holding inside that I never had allowed out, because I think cancer, you kind of touched on a little bit, it's an emotional problem. And a lot of us don't want to take responsibility for that.
Right.
I think it's emotional meets environment meets genetics.
Right.
But it's like, if you don't deal with our spiritual or emotional problems, whatever disease or dis-ease or illness you have, you'll never get over, because you're not addressing where it really came from.
Right.
And whatever your issues are, you can stub your toe or break or have a twist your ankle. Louise Hay will say, well, that was because you were not grounded to the earth. Well, Louise Hay said about Hodgkin's lymphoma, which what I had, was running so fast in order to prove oneself until the blood had no substance. And that was me. I mean, I'm adopted. I was like, okay, maybe if I do this, they'll love me. Maybe if I do this, they'll love me. Well, maybe, do you like me now? It was inside, I might have looked like I was cool on the outside, but on the inside, are they going to give me away if I don't clean the house, mow the yard, get straight A's, overachiever, meet the president?
Wow.
I did all of it. I was 13. I met the president.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I think that we all have to heal our own secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. And only we can do that. I mean,
Right.
and we're the ones that are responsible for that. Ultimately, I mean, everybody always thinks, well, this other person did this to me and it's their fault. And, I don't know, maybe they need to apologize, or that person needs to be punished. And somehow, that's going to balance something in ourselves. But we're responsible for our ownership of our wellness.
Yeah,
right?
I want to say, especially to the listeners who are out there that are listening to what's going on in this conversation, or who will listen, because there will be a lot of people who will follow up watching this program. This situation with Kelly is a situation that a lot of people in the world can find themselves into and not know what to do in their life or how to deal with what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
This is why this woman is so fantastic, because she's been able to break through these conditions or challenges that have come about in her life, and man, she just continues to go after the next challenge.
Well, yeah, and of course, you know, we can all sit back silently and navigate through our lives, and that truly is magnificent. Then there's a whole nother level of craziness for people like Kelly and us that are like, let's just get this out there for everybody.
Living out loud.
To see, to judge, to, you know, like I said, we're not sure if it's wisdom or insanity, you know, that puts everybody out on the forefront that have had these experiences and show people how to work through their experiences. But we belong to this crazy tribe, you know, together. So Kelly, when you made those decisions, you're looking outside, you're having your connection with source and your authenticity and your invulnerable space with yourself, and you're in transparency with yourself, and managing your way through your judgment and your love, and realizing that, you know, the love that's out there for you. And you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So did you know right away, look, I'm going to just start doing my own investigating. I'm going to start doing my own breakdown. What was your next move out of coming from some of that treatment to really find the healing abilities within yourself?
You know, I think that I've been blessed, but I also had some real moments of gut, like fork in the road, and I chose the way that most people wouldn't have chosen. You know, I was offered a really big job at Sony Wonder to manage the game show network or produce the game show network. I didn't really like game shows. I mean, I like to watch Jeopardy with my mother, but I don't really like game shows. So I didn't want this job. And I was also in class at the American Film Institute in screenwriting, and the game show network wouldn't let me finish the class. And my husband at the time was the drummer for Simple Minds, and Simple Minds had just canceled the tour. And he's like, why can't you take this job? And my gut just was like, I can't take this job. Well, that was the life-saving moment that I had. It was a moment, just a tiny moment, where I chose to go to AFI. Well, when I got diagnosed with cancer during that class at AFI, I was sitting next to a woman named Davina Infacino, who became my new friend, and her friend was Ariel Ford, who was the publicist to Deepak Chopra and Burton Goldberg. And Ariel sent me to Burton Goldberg, and Burton Goldberg was the guy who wrote Future Medicine Publishing and wrote the definitive guide to alternative medicine. Burton, I said, what is this guy Burton? He's rich, he's from Aspen, what's he gonna do for me? She said, call him. He's like, you're gonna get your breast implants out, you're gonna get the mercury out of your teeth, you're gonna come to my 70th birthday party, and I'm gonna introduce you to 3 doctors. Oh, okay, well, breast implants out, mercury out. At his birthday party, he introduces me to 2 doctors, one from Canada and a doctor from Texas. And Dr. Lee Cowden is the guy that I've been going to since 1996 in Dallas, Texas. And I have gone through so many detoxes: silicone detox, mercury detox, I had spinal meningitis, encephalitis, and everything. What I really had was iron poisoning, but nobody caught that. So the blessings and the gifts that I had along the way were what I think saved me, you know, because I left up to my own devices. I came from the rock and roll business. I'd be like partying like a rock star and not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
But I got these lights turned on, and I just kind of happened, you know, and I wrote all these poems that I've hidden for a very long time. I'm gonna show you the cover of this book, because this is my commitment this year to share this with people. The book is called Poetry or Prophecy.
Yeah.
And these poems that I downloaded were the poems that got me through cancer. I mean, and it literally, like, the years go by and we wonder why things happen the way they do. But God has a plan, because he's the man that operates Planet Zoo. And I'd be happy to share that poem with you, but it's like, there are these, and I thought they were sing-songy little cheesy words, but they would come to me, and I was like, God has a plan, God has a plan. So instead of like, F you, get out of my way, I'm late, or whatever, or, oh my God, I'm gonna die, I would just think, God has a plan, God has a plan, God has a plan. And that was the journey I went on.
Yeah.
And here I am, you know, they gave me a year to live in 1998.
Wow. Wow.
They said the bone marrow transplant didn't work.
Right.
I called Dr. Mohammed Nika, my healer, and he's, you know, a doctor from Iran, a chiropractor in this country, and studied with the monks in the Himalayas, you know, and did all this energy work. Every week since 1998, that man came to my house, whether I had money or not, to help me. And, you know, now I still see him. I still go to his office now and see him. But it was angels like that. And I called them the angels in the earth suits. They come from outer space. They were sent here on a mission to help the human race. They operate with lots of light that pass across the sky with no gas or electricity. They dream with us. They take us places. They give us kisses with their warm embraces. It's not an easy job from the angels from up above because we're humans with lots of baggage. But they're here to give us love. So. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I think has brought me through it. And lots of angels along the way, lots of doctors, lots of people that just gave me a word of wisdom or a treatment or hope. And I told you about the signs, you know, when I asked God to send me signs.
Yeah.
Literally it came in the form of street signs. I had a camera, I took pictures. One was follow that dream. It was a street sign. The other was inspirational drive. It's somewhere in Arizona. And the other one was hope one way sign.
Wow. Well, Kelly, you're one of those angels, that's for sure. I hope you realize that by now. All the rest of us can, you know, clearly feel that and know that truth as well. Let's talk about, you know, some of your projects that are out there. We know you're involved with Congress. You've made films, you know, huge advocacy for, again, I think your wellness, your self-empowerment, and things like that. What projects would you like to talk about?
Well, you know, I think I'm very proud this year. I actually have done an array of things. Well, you know, I'm one of the producers of Vaxxed. I really believe in vaccine safety. I think there's a lot to be said in that arena. But also this year I have a film coming out called Charlie's Christmas Wish, and it's just a G-rated Christmas movie coming out on Veterans Day because it's about a talking dog and a young boy and homeless vets. And it's to support the veterans, which is also another big cause of mine. My parents are both World War II veterans. And that's coming out. I'm currently working on a film called The State of Denial about the whole red tide and all of the devastation to Florida from the sugar industry and contaminating the Everglades and all of the runoff in Florida causing red tide and, you know, killing all the animals there too, and fish and mammals and sea creatures. Working on the World Dignity Forum, which will be in October. I'm one of the producers of that. It's going to be here in Los Angeles and also in India. And I think that's going to be bringing together a lot of the luminaries in the world of restoring dignity to the planet and it's kind of like the counterpart to the World Economic Forum. And what else? I know there's another big project on my head. My own. Hello, hi, Dr. Sirach, producing the Dr. Sirach Awards again this year in Orlando in November. And that's very near and dear to my heart because it took an army of doctors to get me well, and all of these doctors educating each other on integrative medicine and helping them, each of them, to get, you know, more fluent, I guess, in all the ways of different technologies, I guess. So my doctor, Dr. Lee Cowden, is the head of the Academy of Comprehensive and Integrative Medicine, ACIM. So his conference is in November, and I'm throwing the big awards party, which honors the game changers, the paradigm shifters, the trailblazers, the pioneers, and all the people that we say, you know, have the arrows in their back for helping people to get well.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy that the people that are helping people get well are the ones that get in trouble.
Right. Of course, because
you're an easy target.
Well, that's because we're not really into getting people well. We're into keeping people sick because it's all about money. We don't need to get into that subject matter.
Right.
I think
we want to keep them alive all the way till you run them out of insurance, right?
Right. There you go.
They're disposable.
Yeah. Kelly, if you don't mind, we've got some time left because we love your energy. Is it okay if we get a little personal with you? You know, who are you on a really personal note? Are you a wife? Are you a mother? Are you a sister? You know, who are you personally?
Okay, personally, who am I? I am a well, I should say I'm what am I? I'm a friend. I'm not a wife. I'm a girlfriend for 13 years. So I guess in the state of California, I would be considered a wife. I'm a paradigm shifter. You know, I kind of live to work. You know, but my work takes me, you know, taking people out on a boat to see the dolphins, and sometimes it's writing a proposal, and sometimes it's shooting video, and sometimes it's, you know, just talking to people who need me, and sometimes it's me speaking, and some, you know, who I am personally is very, I think, wrapped up in what I do. I don't have kids. I mean, I'm, you know, like I said, when my friends were having babies, I was having cancer. I got cancer at 20, and then, you know, I had a tumor in my stomach, and I just never really wanted to have a baby. So now I'm a grandma. I'm a step grandma. So I have a 4-month-old stepdaughter named Penelope.
And Penelope, how darling
Penelope,
is that?
and Penelope Lipsum, and she's absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, you know, that's new and exciting, and it's also scary because I live in the state of California where they've now made vaccines mandatory.
Yes. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Yes.
It's you know, it's terrifying because, you know, most people want to believe that the government and, you know, the industry is in their favor. You know, okay, I got to get my kid vaccinated. I want to put him to school, and I need to go to work. You know, it's like we're just trying to get through our day. They don't know how this could have gotten so out of control, but it is out of control. There's no research done on these vaccines. Right. Because of the 1986 vaccine law that says that you can't sue the vaccine manufacturers and that there's a vaccine court, there is no need for the vaccine industry to put these vaccines through the same standard of even mainstream drugs. And we know that even mainstream drugs have gone through clinical 1, 2, and 3 trials, still have come out and harmed people. So it's kind of, there's this disconnect that I don't quite get. But anyway, me personally, I had a cat for 18 years. His name was Scrappy. He died. I found him when I had my bone marrow transplant, and up until like 2 years ago, he was my kid. I wrote a song about him. I mean, he's in my Cheesy But Happy video. I don't know, what else can I tell you? We have a couple of boats. We do a lot of boating. We're restoring a 53-foot sailboat. My boyfriend and I are getting, you know, ready to go out and
cruise.
Take it down to Miami. I really want to take it to Panama. We want to go from LA all the way through Panama Canal and eventually end up in South Florida.
Wow.
Home. That's really where I'm, you know, grew up, and where I want to go back to.
Yeah. Kelly, do you have, where can people see you personally? Have you got speaking engagements coming up? Are you doing things like that? I know we saw you in February, and you know, people were blessed enough to be able to catch you live and to interact with you. Are you out and about with any events coming up?
No, I'm really just focused. I'm going to be I'm going to be hosting at World Dignity Forum in October. I'm going to be hosting at the Dr. Sue Rock in November. I'm, you know, I just hosted the Bioregenesis conference, which was amazing. And for now, I'm really focused this summer on building the Dr. Sue Rock web platform. We're building our store. We're putting products in it that we think, you know, are the things that people need. You know, that here's the foundational things of life. You know, if you're going to take stuff, take this, because, you know, that's what I know you need. And I think that, and then that's just going to help to build the educational program, because we want to give scholarships to kids who want to study integrative medicine and practitioners who want to be in wellness.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I'm going to be spending the summer doing, because it's, you know, I need to get ready we have a big fall lineup. So I'm not really booked out to speak this summer. I'm working on my book. I'm going to, the poetry book, I promised my boyfriend that I would publish it. He's like, "You've had that done for
Yeah.
5 years. It is time for you to share it with the galaxy."
We understand
We
that.
understand.
Our book's just going to publication.
One that I've had,
Yeah, we've
I've had
for a
it
little while.
done for
I
5 years.
know.
I just decided to get it published.
Yeah.
Right? And so I want to thank you guys, because I normally am on the panel where I'm fighting the fight. I'm moderating the vaccine debate, or I'm in the mercury war. And being on the near-death experience panel actually gave me an opportunity to bring out a little bit more of my cosmic side, because I hide that.
Yeah.
I download all the time. I'm really galactic. I kind of just cloak, and I don't really
Right. Well, you'd have
share
to.
that.
Yeah.
Huh?
You'd have to be that way. I mean, we always joke and laugh. People think that there's this big separation between us weird spiritual people who have these gifts, with me channeling Julius and this and that. And then there's kind of the mainstream people. And I'm like, if anybody is passionate about wellness, alignment, authenticity, transparency, joy, happiness, that's all what spirituality and consciousness is. These people are empathic, they're download, they're psychic, they're channels, because this is where you're a channel. You channel your poetry, you channel all of this intuitive knowing of which direction to go. Like you said, I know what people need, I know how this works. Where do you think that comes from?
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't learn it in college.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Kelly, you've got to have a website.
Yeah, we need
You've got to have a
information. Everybody
website.
needs
Give me
information.
some of your information.
Yeah.
I know. I know. I've been hiding, y'all. So I just said, like I said, I want to thank you for kind of pulling on me like that. And I somehow think that the plant, I was being protected in some ways too. I've had a lot of stuff shot down. I mean, my heart stopped in 2005 after making a movie about mercury. I mean, I've had a couple brushes. So I am committed here on your show right now to building the Kelly Chronicles, which is in production, and it will follow where I go and what I do and what I need to share. And I have a few books coming soon. They might just be ebooks. Download it, get the information, so that I can,
Get people out
have
there.
done my work, have fulfilled some of my promises to God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also this, no matter what anybody's belief system out there is, well, that's not true, because some people have extremely negative belief systems, but whatever anybody's perception of where love comes from, or what love is, or how we're related to that, or that we are all of that, we all agree that energy is there. We all agree that it is the joy that you get in being connected to all of that, whatever brings you to that, whatever reminds you of that. And all of our fun interactions with people that we feel energetically connected to, our cool little, playground playmates. We meet here and there, and we have a great time together. I don't know that people I suspect, Kelly, that people don't tell you enough, or for whatever reason, because we tend to be human, we don't hear enough for our own selves, how grateful we all are for you and your journey and your passion to assist, your passion to elevate, your passion to recognize in people their potential and who they are, but also the fact that you demonstrate it so well. You demonstrate it so well. For our listeners and our viewers who thankfully are able to see Kelly in this transmission, it's nothing like being in the room with her.
Actually standing with her and feeling her energy, and that bright smile.
Yeah.
And you can be having the worst day of your life and come across Kelly Gallagher, and it will just totally change.
Yeah, we had the pleasure. We were having breakfast with you at an event, and there she is. She had a beautiful dress on. I remember the dress and the cool boots she had on. And,
of course you remember the clothes.
Of course we do. Of course I'm like, God, I want her dress. But kind of hugging Brad, and I remember just even my own self looking over and going, man, she's super cool. You know, we've got to have more time with her. We've got to have more interaction with her. So thank you for being here and let people see you and be part of your energy.
You know what I forgot? I do have a website. It's called You Gotta Wanna Be. That's where you can see me, Kelly Gallagher, and it's very simple, but it's me as the speaker and me as the.
So say that again, Kelly.
It's hard to spell it. You gotta wanna. UGOTTAWANNA. And then BEE. You gotta wanna be.
You gotta wanna be.
Because my whole journey through cancer was about you gotta wanna. You gotta wanna. I was a swimmer, I was a competitive swimmer. You gotta wanna, and you gotta wanna, not me gotta wanna. So I always support people to follow their dream, follow their path, and be all you can be.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Wow, it just goes, doesn't it? Time just goes.
It does.
Now, are we over already?
Oh man, it's like we just got started, huh?
No.
I'll tell you though, we got just a couple more minutes. We're just gonna make a couple more minutes here, Kelly. When you encounter somebody, because we know you do, because we encounter people, you know, they're gonna come to you or they're gonna listen to you because they have issues, because they're looking for answers. For a lot of us, we get people a lot of times when they're down, when they're ill, they're finally are in a position to, you know, kind of take charge of themselves. So when you see somebody or you encounter people and they're kind of down, and you don't want to overwhelm them with like, my God, here, let me help you. Do you see yourself in those people? Do you see, here's another version of me that I get to, and I continue to get to, you know, refine myself, heal myself? You know, do you see people that way?
I wish I could tell you I was that deep, but I'm not. I'm just kind of there, you know. When somebody comes to me and they want to talk, you know, I guess it's channeling, because I'm not really thinking of anything other than what comes to me of like, what do they need? What can I be for them? What you know, can I add a little piece of information that might help them make a better choice? Because I really believe, you know, we're all on our own journey, and this is a game. Yeah. You know, you can, however you want to look at it. I finally gotten to a place in my journey where I look at all the pieces, and instead of getting all victim-y and mad and, oh, look what they did to me, I'm like, all right, I didn't play the chess piece that well, you know, and I have to like take responsibility for where was I in that, you know, why wasn't I paying attention? Why am I letting something else take precedent? You know, I'm now seeing the game in like 12D.
Yeah.
So when I see somebody, I just I want to give them love if they'll let me, you know. And it was funny, yesterday I took this 82-year-old friend of mine to go get her dentistry done up with this rock star dentist up in Ventura. And the son of Reverend Michael came in to do his dentistry, and Reverend Michael's from Agape here in Los Angeles. And I hadn't ever met him. I knew who he was because, you know, I know but he was getting ready to leave, and I stood up, and we're like 15 feet apart, and I wanted to hug him. And he says, "You want to hug me, don't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." You know, it was like we had this conversation, and it was like, damn, that was good. You know, I didn't have to say anything. And it wasn't like I stood up to hug him. It was like I was standing, he was standing, 5 minutes went by, and he's like, "You want to hug me?" And so I love that. I love intergalactic communication, and that's what's kind of going on. And I own that domain name. I don't ask me why, but I domained that domain name probably 20 years ago.
Wow.
Intergalactic communication. How weird was I?
Yeah, you are weird. You're
nobody
weird.
Everyone was like, whatever, Kelly, whatever you're talking about, whatever.
Right. I love the hugging thing. Brad gets that a lot too. He'll just be standing. There's just something about Brad. You know, Brad's got this big bear warrior kind of energy. It's like everybody feels kind of safe.
Everybody they stare at me and look at me, and boy, I don't want to make eye contact. Come here. Come on over. I'll give you.
You're like Amma.
I'll make it all go away. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hugger, the
Yeah.
bear hugger.
Yeah.
That could be your nickname, the
Yeah.
bear hugger.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like Amma. People come from all over just to hug her,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Sit and hugs all
Yeah.
day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thanks,
it's
Kelly.
hugs are just healing, and if people,
Right.
if you, especially, but remind everybody, heart to heart.
Right.
We always
There you
go to the
go.
left, step to the right, heart to heart.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually, I don't do that enough. I don't know why I do have a tendency to kind of go left on everybody.
We all
I need
do.
to-
Go to the right. And
Okay.
that's what I learned from my doctor, Dr. Cowden, a long time ago. He said to me, heart to heart, step to the right. And now I just, every time somebody goes for me, I'm like this,
Cool.
Make
Look
them
at that.
hug me heart to heart. So
Yeah.
that's what I can impart.
Nice. We want to
Heart.
thank you, Kelly, of course, for your valuable time. Valuable time. We're very blessed to have gotten you on the show, and we want all of our viewers and our listeners to review this transmission, get some of the information, vital information that you got from Kelly on her programs and her projects that she's working on, so you can view those. You can check those out. Also to assist you to get educated for your empowerment in
Yeah.
your life, right? Right?
Yeah, education, it's up to you.
Yeah. And also to encourage everybody, get involved in some of this stuff. Shall we really, finally get everybody waking up a little bit, being mindful of our own actions, our own choices, which affect and inspire everybody else.
Oh, come on. Why
Okay?
would we do that?
Right.
Somebody else is going to take care of
That's
that for
right.
us, right?
That's right. People like Kelly are going
Yeah,
to take care of
yeah.
it. We want everybody to take care of themselves and each other. We want to remind everybody that we're here every week on this program, and we know everybody out there is extraordinary. Kelly is extraordinary,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Always has an extraordinary experience, doesn't she?
She does. She
Yeah.
does. And she's just fun to sit down and have coffee
She
or
just-
a glass of wine with and
That's
just
right.
chat with, right?
Yep. Yep.
Everybody have a fantastic day today. We look forward to the next time that we get to spend our energy space with yours. We wish you wellness, love, and abundance in your life in all ways. Until next time.